Hello all, I am Dr. Panduranga Nayak, Principal and Associate Professor, Sri Venkatramana Swami College, Bantwal. You have already known a lot of things about GST. GST is nothing but Goods and Services Tax. So it's an indirect tax. It was introduced on 1st July 2017. Before that, several indirect taxes were there, like VAT, Karnataka Value Added Tax, for example, CST, Central Sales Tax, Service Tax, Excise Duty. So many indirect taxes were there. So there were multiplicity of tax laws. So to replace that, GST was introduced, and you have already learned so many things about GST. One of the important component of that is input tax credit. So there are three things. One is output tax, that is when you supply the goods to a dealer or to a customer, you collect tax on that. And then when you are supplied with the goods by somebody, then you will pay the tax on that, and that is called input tax. Whereas when you supply the goods to others, you collect the tax, but that is called output tax. So there is output tax, then input tax, then the difference between the two is called net tax. So one of the important features of GST is the benefit of input tax credit. You can reduce the output tax with the help of input tax. Even you have learned so many things about this earlier. Now, today, I am going to tell you, or I am going to solve some problems based on this. Before that, let us briefly know the provisions of set-off. First one is IGST credit. There are three types of GST. One is IGST, CGST, and SGST or UTGST. IGST means integrated service tax. Then CGST, Central Goods and Services Tax. SGST, State Goods and Services Tax. UTGST means Union Territory GST, Goods and Services Tax. IGST means Integrated Goods and Services Tax. Okay. If the goods are supplied within the state, that is called intrastate, then CGST is levied, and equal tax is levied in the form of SGST. That's why it's called dual tax. Supposing the GST rate is 12%, then it is divided into CGST and SGST equally. That is 6% CGST and 6% SGST. Okay, let us see the provisions of set-off. IGST credit should first be utilized towards payment of IGST. So that's the first thing. So when you supply the goods to a dealer in some other state, you are going to levy IGST, that's output tax. Supposing you have got IGST credit, that can be set off against or towards IGST. That is the first thing you have to do. If there is any surplus of IGST when compared to output tax of IGST, that can be utilized towards the payment of CGST and SGST or UTGST in any order and in any proportion. Let me give an example. Supposing the IGST liability or output tax is say 50,000 and IGST input tax credit is, let us say, 60,000. So what you need is just 50,000, but you have 60,000. So first set off to the extent needed against IGST liability. So 60,000 minus 50,000. So still you have got IGST credit of 10,000. That is called surplus IGST. This can be utilized towards the payment of CGST and SGST or UTGST in any order or in any proportion. What I mean to say is, see that 10,000 that can be utilized towards payment of CGST only, or it can be used towards SGST only, or you can use that for both in any proportion. For example, 50-50, 30-70 or 70-30, in any order. There is no specific requirement. You have got full liberty, you have got the discussion. Yes. Then entire ITC of IGST should be fully utilized before utilizing the ITC of CGST or SGST or UTGST. So before utilizing any ITC of CGST or SGST or UTGST, fully you have to exhaust IGST input tax credit. Okay. And next thing is, ITC of CGST should be utilized for payment of CGST and IGST in that order. What I meant is, supposing CGST liability is, let us say, 40,000. Then ITC of CGST is, let us say, 50,000. So first you utilize it towards CGST. So what you need is 40,000. Then still you have got surplus of 10,000. That can be utilized to pay IGST liability. But it cannot be utilized for payment of SGST or UTGST. Then next one, ITC of SGST or UTGST should be utilized for payment of SGST or UTGST, and if there is any surplus, that can be utilized towards IGST in that order. However, one important point you have to note, ITC of SGST or UTGST should be utilized for payment of IGST only after ITC of CGST has been utilized. ITC of SGST or UTGST cannot be utilized for payment of CGST, or vice versa. That means to say, if there is any surplus ITC of SGST or UTGST, that cannot be utilized towards CGST. Similarly, if there is any surplus of CGST credit, that cannot be utilized towards the payment of SGST or UTGST. So this is how you have to utilize the ITC, input tax credit. Let me once again sum up very briefly. Say IGST, integrated goods and services tax credit, that is input tax credit, should first be utilized towards payment of IGST. That is the first thing. Then if there is any surplus input tax credit of IGST, then it can be utilized for the payment of CGST or SGST in any order. For example, first you can use it towards CGST, or first towards SGST, then again CGST, or you can use it for both the taxes, that is CGST or SGST, in any proportion. So this is the second point. Remaining credit, if any, that is surplus, can be utilized towards the payment of CGST and SGST or UTGST in any order, 50-50 or 30-70 or 70-30 or any order. I mean, you can first set off against CGST or against SGST, and then in any proportion like 50-50, 70-30, 30-70, 40-60, so that way in any order. Then entire ITC, that is input tax credit of IGST, should be fully utilized before utilizing the ITC, that is input tax credit of CGST or SGST or UTGST. UTGST is in the case of Union Territories. ITC of CGST should be utilized for the payment of CGST, and if there is any surplus, that should be utilized towards the payment of IGST liability, but it cannot be utilized towards SGST. Similarly, ITC, input tax credit of SGST or UTGST, should be utilized for payment of SGST or UTGST in the case of UTGST input tax credit, and IGST in that order. Surplus can be used towards the payment of IGST. However, ITC of SGST or UTSGST should be utilized for payment of IGST only after ITC of CGST has been utilized fully. So, first CGST input tax credit must be utilized towards CGST liability. If there is any surplus, that should be utilized towards input tax. That should be utilized towards the payment of IGST. Without exhausting that, you cannot utilize the surplus of SGST towards the payment of IGST. One more thing is, ITC of SGST or UTGST cannot be utilized for the payment of CGST or vice versa. Now let us take up some problems to elaborate how this input tax credit can be utilized, and sometimes it could be set off. Manish has sold goods from Mandya to Ashwin of Mangalore worth rupees 50,000. So this is intra-state trade, a supply, intra-state supply or sale. Say Mandya and Mangalore both are in Karnataka, therefore it is interstate sale or supply, and the value is 50,000. After getting these goods, Ashwin resells it to Adya of Bihar. So this supply is interstate. See, Ashwin is from Mangalore, that is Karnataka, and Adya is from Bihar, and therefore that is interstate supply. So in the first case, CGST and SGST are applicable, whereas in the second case, IGST is applicable because it is interstate sale. Rate of CGST and SGST are 2.5% respectively. That means totally 5% of that 2.5% CGST and 2.5% SGST, and IGST at 5%. Electronic credit ledger of Manish shows the credit balance of IGST 500, CGST 500 and SGST 4,000. Calculate tax payable and GST. Okay, now let us take the first case, that is supply by Manish to Ashwin. Already I told you that is intra-state sale. Therefore here CGST and SGST are applicable at the rate of 2.5%. So the value of taxable supply is 50,000. On 50,000 you need to calculate 2.5% each. So that comes to 1,250 and 1,250. Now you have to see that is input tax credit here. Credit ledger of electronic credit ledger of Manish shows the credit balance of IGST 500, CGST 500 and SGST 4000. First you have to make use of IGST credit 500. Okay, just see here. This 500 IGST credit, that should be first utilized, but in any order and in any proportion. For example, this 500 can be utilized towards CGST only, or it can be used towards SGST only, or equally, or in any proportion. You have got that discretion. So here we have used this 500 IGST input tax credit towards CGST and SGST equally. So 500 divided by 2, so 250, and here 250. So this 500 is exhausted. Okay, balance here is 1250 minus 250, 1000. Here 1250 minus 250, 1000. Now you can make use of the input tax credit of CGST and SGST. See here you have learned there is a balance of CGST 500 and SGST 4000. So 1000 is the CGST liability after utilizing this 250. So balance is 1000. So now you have got a credit of 500. Utilize it. So 1000 minus 500. 500 is the tax liability in the case of CGST. Then as far as SGST is concerned, liability remaining is 1000, whereas you have got a credit of 4000. So 1000 minus 4000, you will get a surplus of 3000 ITC, input tax credit of 3000. This cannot be utilized towards CGST liability. Similarly, surplus of CGST ITC cannot be utilized towards liability of SGST. Okay, therefore here 500 is payable by Manish as far as CGST is concerned, whereas there is still a surplus, a balance in ITC of SGST. There is no IGST, there is no balance whatsoever. So this is about computation of GST in the case of Mr. Manish. Now Manish supplied the goods to Ashwin. Now Ashwin in turn supplied the goods to Adya, and this is an interstate transaction or interstate sale. Value of supply is 80,000, and here there is no division of that 5% into 2.5 and 2.5%. So 5% is applied on 80,000. So you will get IGST of 4,000. Okay. Now here you have to remember what is the input tax credit to Ashwin. What is output tax to Manish will be input tax credit to Ashwin. So this is 1250 CGST and 1250 SGST. These are output taxes of Manish, but same taxes are input taxes to Ashwini. Therefore here 4,000 is the IGST liability. First you have to exhaust credit of CGST. So 1,250 you use it. Still there is a balance of 2,750. Then you have to make use of surplus of SGST. So here you have got 1,250. There is no liability against that. This is the surplus. This has to be utilized. Then whatever balance remains, that is the IGST payable. I repeat, if there is IGST liability, you have to find out whether there is a IGST input tax credit. So here there is no input tax credit. Now you have to first make use of surplus of CGST credit. So there is no liability against CGST. Therefore, this is the surplus amount. So this amount you have to use first towards IGST. Use it. Then the remaining value is 2750. Then you have to make use of SGST surplus towards IGST. You cannot use simultaneously, or you cannot use SGST credit first, then using the surplus of CGST. This order you cannot follow. First you have to exhaust CGST credit if there is any surplus towards IGST, and then if you require still more amount, then you can make use of ITC of SGST. So here, even if you make use of both CGST credit ITC and SGST credit of 1250, still you require 1500, so you do not have any other alternative. So this is the amount you have to pay. So balance payable by Ashwini, that is IGST 1500. ITC of SGST or UTGST cannot be utilized for payment of CGST or vice versa. What is output tax for the seller is the input tax for the buyer. So this is the point you have to remember. So this is the first problem. Now we will move on to the second problem. From the following information of Holla and Company of Kundapur for the month of December 2018, compute the eligible input tax credit and CGST payable. So here, purchase of raw material A from a supplier of Udupi. So Holla and Company are from Kundapur, and they have purchased the raw material from supplier of Udupi. So both are within the same state. This is intra-state purchase. Then purchase of raw material B from Calcutta. So the dealer is from Kundapur, so Karnataka, and then Calcutta, West Bengal. So the transaction or supply is interstate. So here IGST is applicable, whereas in the previous case it is CGST and SGST simultaneously. 5% is divided into 2.5% CGST and 2.5% SGST. This is supply, sale. So 3 lakh to Mandya. Mandya is in Karnataka only, and therefore intra-state supply. So 18% is divided into 9% and 9% CGST and SGST respectively. Supply of goods worth rupees 2 lakh to Mysore. Again, this is intra-state supply. So 12% is divided into 6% CGST and 6% SGST. Now let us go ahead with the computation of output tax, input tax, and the net tax payable. So sale to Mandya, that is intra-state, within the state. Therefore, 3 lakh into 9% each. 3 lakh into 9, so 27,000 CGST and 27,000 SGST. Then supply of goods of 2 lakh, that is also intrastate. Therefore, 2 lakh into 6% each. So that comes to 12,000 and 12,000. Okay, the total output tax is 39,000 CGST and 39,000 SGST and nil in the case of IGST. Now let us calculate input tax credit eligible on inputs. Purchase from Udupi, already I told you that is intra-state supply, and 5% is the total tax rate, but it's divided into CGST and SGST. So 2.5% each, so 2,500, 2,500, nil. Then purchase from Calcutta, that is interstate supply, and therefore it's not divided, so 12% should be taken as it is. So 12% on 5 lakh comes to 60,000, no CGST, no SGST. So total CGST is 2,500, total SGST input tax credit is 2,500, total input tax credit of IGST 60,000. Now we have to calculate the net GST payable. Okay, output tax payable, say 39,000 and 39,000. Then there is no IGST. But if you look at input tax credit, you have got 2,500 in CGST, 2,500 in SGST, 60,000 in IGST. There is no liability against IGST. So no liability against IGST. Now what you have to do? First, you have to use this surplus IGST input tax credit towards payment of CGST or SGST in any order and in any proportion. Any order means first you can use this 60,000 towards CGST and the remaining amount towards SGST. Or you can use this 60,000 first against SGST, then if there is surplus towards CGST. Or against both. For example, equally, what we have done is we have used it equally. Or in any order, in any proportion, maybe 70-30 or 30-70, 60-40 or 40-60. So in any order, there is no hard and fast rule. You have got the discretionary power. But anyway, we have used it equally. So that, this is the output tax liability of CGST and SGST. You are using this 60,000 equally here, 30,000 and 30,000, so that this 60,000 is exhausted. Now you have to make use of input tax credit of CGST and SGST. So 30,000 minus 9,000, 2,500. Then 30,000 minus 9,000, 2,500. So I'm sorry, 39,000 is the output tax payable. So you are using 30,000 IGST here. So remaining amount is 9,000. Even here 39,000 minus 30,000, 9,000. But you have got input tax credit here 2,500 and 2,500. Utilize that. Now the net tax payable is 6,500 and 6,500. And nil in the case of IGST, because IGST credit is fully utilized towards the payment of CGST and 30,000 SGST. And remaining balance after utilizing IGST is 9,000 CGST, 9,000 SGST. Then utilize input tax credit of CGST 2,500, then SGST again 2,500. So these are the balances to be payable ultimately after set off. 6,500 and 6,500. Okay, now let us move on to the third problem. Sharadi, a registered dealer in Haryana, purchased certain products from Punjab, rupees 4 lakh, Punjab for rupees 4 lakh. So Haryana and from Punjab, therefore the transaction or supply is interstate, and has paid IGST at the rate of 5%. After manufacturing the final product, she sold half of the goods in the state of Haryana, and that is intra-state supply. So within Haryana only she has supplied, therefore it is intra-state supply. And GST rate is 12% GST. That means it should be divided into CGST and SGST equally 6% each. And rest of the products to a unit situated in special economic zone Haryana. Of course, if you supply to a special economic zone, it is zero rated, so no tax will be levied on that. It is zero rated. She purchased certain goods in Haryana for rupees 5 lakh and paid GST at 12%. So from Haryana, the goods are purchased again, and therefore intrastate transaction. So 9% CGST and 9% SGST. Now all the goods were sold by her under interstate sale to a registered dealer in Uttar Pradesh. From Haryana to Uttar Pradesh, interstate sale, and value of supply is 7 lakh, and IGST rate is 12%. 12% should be applied on 7 lakh, so that you will get IGST amount. Yes. So here first computation of output tax payable. Sale within the state. So 3 lakh into 6%. So 12% totally GST, but divided into 6% each. So 18,000 and 18,000 and nil. Sale to special economic zone, I already told it is zero rated supply, so no tax amount here. Then sale to UP, that is interstate supply or sale. So here only IGST is applicable, therefore 12% of 7 lakh is 84,000. So 18,000, 18,000 and 84,000. Now computation of input tax credit. Purchase from Punjab, so interstate, so IGST is applicable, 4 lakh into 5%, so 20,000. Purchased in Haryana only, within the state, so it is CGST and SGST which are applicable. On 5 lakh, actually GST rate is 18%, that is divided into 9% each, CGST and SGST. So 5 lakh into 9%, 45,000. Then 5 lakh into 9%, SGST 45,000. So total CGST is 45,000, total SGST is 45,000, and total IGST is 20,000. Now let us see how we are going to calculate net GST payable. Look here, total output tax payable as per this calculation 18,000, 18,000 and 84,000 here. Okay, then input tax credit here, this is more than CGST payable, and in the case of SGST also input tax credit is more than the SGST payable, whereas in the case of IGST 20,000 is payable, whereas 84,000 is payable, whereas you have got say just 20,000 input tax credit, that is deficit, and therefore so calculate the net IGST 84,000 minus 20,000, you get 64,000. Here also you deduct the input tax credit as far as CGST is concerned. What you require is just 18,000, whereas you have 45,000. Still there is a surplus of 27,000. Even here 18,000 is the liability, whereas input tax credit is 45,000. So still you have got a surplus of 27,000. Now there is a shortage in the case of IGST. Still this is the liability payable. Now you can use the surplus of CGST towards IGST. First CGST surplus should be utilized, and then if there is any surplus in SGST, that should be utilized. Here even if you utilize both CGST surplus and SGST surplus, still that will be 54,000. What you need is 64,000. So in spite of utilizing input tax credit of CGST surplus and SGST surplus, still there is a tax liability of 10,000 as far as IGST is concerned. So balance of tax payable is just 10,000. Let me repeat. Say output tax payable is CGST 18,000, SGST 18,000 and IGST 84,000. Whereas see here, input tax credit 45,000 in the case of CGST, 45,000 in case of SGST, 20,000 in the case of IGST. Okay, first we will take up IGST, 84,000 minus 20,000. So ITC of IGST is not enough to pay IGST liability. So still you need 64,000 rupees. But look at CGST, 18,000 is the liability, SGST 18,000 is the liability, but you have got 45,000 each input tax credit surplus, input tax credit. First, utilize to the extent required in both the cases. So compare 18,000 against 45,000. Still, there is a surplus of 27,000. Compare 18,000 against 45,000. Still, there is a surplus of 27,000. Now, when you have to set off, what you have to do is first you have to exhaust CGST input tax credit surplus. So 20,000, 7,000, 27,000 is the surplus amount. So use this 27,000 towards 64,000. Then use surplus of SGST. So totally that will be 54,000. Still you need to pay 10,000 IGST. Okay, let us move on to the next problem. Yogananda, a dealer of Mysore, submits the following information in relation to manufacture and selling of a machine. Compute the net tax payable by Mr. Yoganand. Yes, import of raw materials, excluding BCD at 10% and IGST at 12%. Here, in this case, you have to first calculate transaction value. You have to calculate the transaction value. Okay. For that, okay, import of raw materials. So here it is excluding BCD at 10% and IGST of 12%. Both are excluded from this 2,40,000. But in order to calculate transaction value, you have to include BCD, but you are not to include IGST. So what shall we do? You have to calculate 10% BCD on 2,40,000. That should be added and that should be included for calculating transaction value. Then raw materials purchased from Mangalore, including GST of 28%. See, GST should not be included, but BCD should be included. Here BCD is included, but GST is also included. So that should be excluded. Therefore, what we have to do is, we have to take 2,81,600. Therefrom, you have to deduct 2,81,600 into 28 divided by 128. 100 plus 28. Because this is equal to 100 plus 28. 128. So of that, what is 28? That you have to calculate, and that should be deducted from 2,81,600. Then you will get the value excluding GST. Raw materials purchased from Goa, okay, including GST. Even here, that's what you have to do. From 63,000, you have to deduct GST. So how to calculate 63,000 into 5 by 105, 100 plus 5. Subsidy received from an NGO which was directly related to price of the machine. This should be included. Penalty levied by Mr. Pavan for delayed payment. This should be utilized later on while calculating transaction value. Subsidy received from central government which directly linked to the price of the output. This is exempt. So this should not be included in the transaction value. Additional incentives paid to the employees of sales department, that should be included in the transaction value. Warranty charges, manufacturing expenses, both are to be included. Then services received from a registered dealer to manufacture machinery for 23,000 at 18% GST. This is also to be included in order to calculate transaction value. Along with the machine, he supplied 3 different components at a fixed price of 25,000 each. Of those components which are not naturally bundled with the supply of the machine. The rate of GST applicable on 3 components is 5%, 12% and 28% respectively. So there are different types of supplies. One is composite supply and the other one is mixed supply. Here it is mixed supply because these components are not naturally bundled with the supply of the machine. When it is mixed supply, you have to apply the highest rate here, for example 5%, 12% and 28%. So of that, which one is highest, that should be applied. That should be applied. Actually here it's given, uh, yes, the rate of GST on such a sale is 18%. But here what you have to do is the highest rate should be utilized in order to calculate GST. Further, to read this paragraph, Mr. Yoganand sold the machine to Mr. Pradeep, a registered dealer in New Delhi, at a profit of 15% on cost of production. So in the process of ascertaining the transaction value, you will calculate cost of production. To that you have to add 15% profit, and thereafterwards you have to add penalty, and then you have to add the value of the components supplied, and then you have to calculate the transaction value, and based on that you are calculating the output tax. Now let us compute the transaction value. Already I have explained. Now let me briefly once again explain that. Import of raw materials, so 2,40,000, it is excluding BCD, so BCD is 10%, so add that, so 10% of 2,40,000, so 24,000, as a result total is 2,64,000. Raw materials purchased from Mangalore, but including GST, so that should be excluded. BCD should be included. BCD means basic customs duty, that should be included, but GST should not be included, therefore that should be excluded. So 28% is the rate of tax there, therefore this 2,81,600 is equal to 128. Of that, 28 is the GST, and if you exclude that, that is 61,600. The remaining amount is 2,20,000. Raw materials purchased from Goa, again GST included above 5%. So 63,000 is equal to 100 plus 5, 105. Out of 105, what is 5? And that is GST, and that comes to 3,000 here. That should be deducted from 63,000. You will get 60,000. Then add all these things. Subsidy received from NGO, which was directly related to price of the machine. Additional incentives paid to the employees of sales department. Warranty charges, manufacturing expenses. Then services received from a registered dealer to manufacture a machinery, 23,000. Subsidy received from central government, which is directly linked to the price of the output. I told you it is exempt, not to be included while calculating the cost of production. So exempt. So if you add up all these items, 13,000, 5,000, 8,500, 6,000, 23,000, you will get 55,500. When you add up, you will get total cost of production 5,99,500. To this you have to add 15% profit margin. So 15% on cost, so 5,99,500 into 15%, that comes to 89,925. So cost of supply, material supplied, it is 6,89,425. Then you add penalty for delayed payment, that should be added here after ascertaining cost of material supplied, so 575. So you will get 6,90,000. Then cost of components supplied along with the machinery, we call this total supply as mixed supply, because they are not naturally bundled, all these items, they are not closely related, and therefore we call that mixed supply. When you apply mixed supply, the value should be added here of the components, and here transaction value of this mixed supply is 6,75,000. And while calculating output tax, highest rate should be applied, that is 28% in our case, though the output tax rates are different for different components. So that's about transaction value or value of supply. Now let us go for calculation of output tax. So it is very clearly mentioned, sale to Pradeep, and you see here registered dealer in New Delhi, and he is from Mysore. Yogananda is from Mysore, and therefore that is interstate supply. So on 6,75,000 you have to apply 28%. I told you it is a mixed supply, therefore highest rate among the different rates that should be applied. As a result, IGST only 2,14,200. That is the total output tax. No output tax as far as CGST and SGST are concerned. Then computation of eligible input tax credit. Okay, imported materials at 12%. So IGST 31,680. This is after adjustment, excluding IGST. So 31,200 on 2,64,000. And purchased within the state, that is you have to apply CGST as well as SGST. 50% of 28%, 14% each. So 30,800 and 30,800 nil IGST. Raw materials purchased from Goa, interstate transaction, again IGST is applicable. If it is interstate transaction, IGST. If it is intrastate transaction, then CGST and SGST equally. In other words, the total tax rate should be divided into CGST and SGST equally, 50%, 50%. Then service received to manufacture, and that is also intrastate transaction. And here, yes, 9%. So 2,070 and 2,070. So if you add up all these three columns, 32,870, 32,870 and 34,680. Okay, now let us go for set off and calculate the net GST payable. See here, output tax liabilities 2,14,200. No output tax liability in the case of CGST and SGST. Okay. Whereas input tax credit, if you look at the previous table, okay, input tax credit is 32,870 and 34,680. So here 2,14,250 is the output tax liability. Input tax credit is 34,680. First you have to make use of input tax credit of IGST towards IGST only. Okay, use it. This 34,680 should be first utilized. Once that is over, still you need 1,79,520. There is a deficit, shortage. Now what you can do, you have to find out whether there is surplus CGST. Yes, you have got 32,870 input tax credit of CGST. There is no liability of CGST. So this is surplus. First you have to exhaust input tax credit surplus of CGST. Use it. So 32,870 is utilized. Then the balance IGST payable is 1,46,650. Now you have to make use of the surplus of SGST 32,870. Use it. Yes, you utilized. So after utilizing that, still there is a liability 1,13,780. So this is the balance of IGST payable. And as far as CGST and SGST is concerned, there is no balance of ITC and there is no tax payable also, because entire ITC of CGST and SGST are utilized towards payment of IGST liability. So this is about this. Thank you very much for giving a patient listening.